Hey guys, how are you? Again, it's Kevin Schmidt, physical therapist, bike fitter out here in Portland, Oregon at Pedal PT. Today we're going to talk a little bit about Achilles pain, or kind of that lower part of your calf, the back of the leg, around where the heel attaches, that kind of heel cord back there, Achilles pain. Pretty common in cycling, and oftentimes what we want to do is kind of talk about that a little bit and kind of what generally causes that, so you can hopefully kind of self-diagnose yourself and kind of remedy that with cycling. So for the most part, what we're looking at is oftentimes when you are getting calf pain or Achilles pain, oftentimes, number one, your saddle is probably a little too high. The reason that is that when you're pedaling and you're a little too high on that saddle, your foot then has to point at the bottom of that pedal stroke. The further that ankle has to reach and point, the more you're putting more stress and more force into the calf muscle, both your gastroc and your soleus muscle, which forms the Achilles tendon. In cycling, we want the calf to almost behave more as a stabilizer, not really a power generator. So in an ideal world, when you're pedaling, you want your foot plantar flexed or pointing the toe just a little bit, maybe 10 to 15 degrees, and then the foot should stay in that same angle throughout the entire pedal range. If you tend to find if your saddle's too high, your foot will end up kind of pointing at the bottom. And a lot of people develop Achilles tendonitis from being used to being high and really pedaling using their calf as a power generator. Over time, that muscle will kind of become injured or irritated depending on how far we stress that. The other thing that we tend to find is sometimes people will pedal with their heel down. Again, not advisable, and the more we pedal with the heel down, that of course is going to put more stress on that Achilles as well. So oftentimes it's a combination of, or just watching someone, if they're pedaling and they're really thinking about lowering their heel when they're pushing down in that push phase, that will put a lot of stress on that Achilles. Oftentimes people just do that because they think they're supposed to do that, maybe that's a good way to pedal, but just make sure we're cueing those guys to keep the toe pointed a little bit, not excessive, but just a little bit. And your BikeFit, your saddle height, should allow you to have a nice neutral position of that foot and ankle. So therefore, you're gonna be looking at saddle height a little bit. Another key component is you wanna be looking at cleats if you're using a clipless pedal system. Oftentimes, people with calf pain, Achilles issues, oftentimes have the cleat too far toward the toes, which increases a lot longer lever arm and force as we're pedaling, which can put more stress over time to that Achilles. So give those a try. If you do have questions, please drop those below. But otherwise, Achilles pain usually is easy to remedy once we identify that. And otherwise, if you do have questions, please seek a physical therapist or a bike fitter to help you with that. Otherwise, drop those questions below. Thanks again for watching. Please click like and consider subscribing. It's your questions that keep this channel going. Till then, I'll see you next time. Cheers.